Nelson, President and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters Miami. This is the Game of Life.
Welcome to the Game of Life, where everybody makes the team, but how you play is up to you. I am here live with my main man, my Ohio brother, two-time NBA world champion, Norris Cole. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, brother? Good to be here.
Absolutely. So first of all, Norris, are you keeping safe?
Yes, I'm keeping safe. I'm keeping my social distance. Me and my family, we bunkered down. Only time I leave the house is when I'm going to see my parents, and then I'm back home.
Good. And again, you were just playing some international ball over in Monaco. And so from the international experience, and then coming over back stateside, back home in OHIO.
Absolutely.
That's a unique experience. Just share with us in terms of what that was like, because I know it was quite interesting.
Yeah, it's a new way of life. It's a different way of life. Being in Europe, being in Monaco, you get to learn new cultures. You get to listen and see new language, new dialects, different people. I get to play a different style of basketball. And so it's definitely something I'll remember. I've learned a lot being over there. Obviously, nothing is like being home. But I think being a kid from Dayton, to be able to travel and see the world, and share that experience with the world and with my family, I think I've been blessed.
That's all right, brother. And in terms of basketball, what's the difference in style of play from the NBA to most recently in Monaco? What's the biggest difference?
Well, the biggest difference is the rules. The rules are different, which allows for, I'll give you an example. There's no defensive 3 seconds.
Oh, my.
So the help side defense can stay in the paint all day. There's a little bit more hand checking, so it's a little bit more physical. 10-minute quarters instead of 12-minute quarters, and it's running clock. Only the coaches can call timeout, and so that makes for a different style of play. And the way they ref Americans sometimes is a bit different.
So now again, so it's a little more physical, and so
it's a little more physical.
So do they flop as well, like they do in the stateside?
You know it. That's where we get it from in the States. That's where we get it from, the flopping.
Oh man. Now, Norris, check this out, brother. As we think about everything that's going on, and this is Coaching with Cole here on the Game of Life, where everybody makes a team, but how you play is up to you. A main man, Norris Cole, two-time NBA world champion with the Miami Heat. And he's seen the world and is just doing his thing. Speaking of going, let me go international again real quick. You were in the All-Star game in Monaco.
Absolutely.
As well. Talk to us about that experience.
Well, the All-Star game experience was a great experience. I learned so much. It was like the NBA All-Star game, to be honest with you. It was the media all over France, all over the country, the top players in the league, dunk contest, skills challenge, All-Star game, festivities. It was a great experience. It was one of the funnest experiences I've ever had. I remember I played in the rookie All-Star game when I was for Miami Heat, and it was just like that. It was just in Paris.
Wow. And so now what aspect did you play in, and what did you do specifically in the All-Star game? Just the actual game, or was there any skills challenge for you at all?
So I participated in the actual All-Star game, and I also won the skills challenge.
Nice. Now, what were the skills? What did you have to do? Was it dribbling, passing?
It was dribble, pass, and shoot. So I dribbled through some cones, make a shot, dribble through some more cones, make another shot, then dribble the full court and have to make a shot in the fastest time.
Nice. Now, speaking of, let's take it back to coaching. Now, just a kid from Dayton, Ohio.
Just a kid from Dayton.
When did you first pick up that basketball, Norris? As far as you can remember, you might have had one when you were real young, but when you first pick up a basketball and really begin to fall in love with the sport we all know and love?
I was probably about 3 years old on the Fisher-Price rim.
No, everybody had the Fisher-Price.
Everybody had the Fisher-Price. Did I dunk on it? Oh, man. Poor rim. I feel bad for the rim. I was dunking on it so much. But, yeah, and I started playing organized ball around 5 years old. Kindergarten, when I started going to school is when I started playing organized ball. And, I loved all sports at first. I loved football. I enjoyed baseball. Obviously basketball. I ran a little track. I tried tennis. I tried a little bit of golf. I tried skating on the skateboard and on the rollerblades. I tried it all, but it was something about basketball. It was something about basketball that I loved. I was willing to pay the price, is what I always say. That's how I knew I loved it. I was willing to go through the pain and suffering of training, and still come back the next day. In other sports, I just wasn't willing to do that.
See, I tell you something, Norris. That's a life lesson right there. Coaching with Cole. When you think about no effort, no excellence, Norris, and a barrier is just a building block to development. So, what's your message out to all the young people out there, and to everybody dealing with not only a global pandemic, but we also think about what we're going through in terms of just a mindset. You said you were willing to pay the price. If you're not willing to pay the price in anything, it's not worth doing. So we got all these bigs and littles in Miami that are listening to us right now, and folks all across the world. What's your message to folks in terms of your first coaching? You can give a few coaching tips today, brother, but in terms of coaching, paying the price in basketball, what does that look like? What does that mean more specifically?
Well, what it means is, I take the good with the bad. When you're trying to achieve something excellent, or when you're trying to have a breakthrough in life and improve yourself, there's going to come bumps in the road, and you have to enjoy those bumps in the road if you love it. If you love it, you're going to go through the conditioning. Part of being a professional athlete, you have to condition your lungs, condition your legs, your body. And that love that I had for the game, I was willing to go out there and run until my legs were heavy and I couldn't run no more. I was willing to lift weights and have my arms and my shoulders hurting. I was willing to shoot the ball until my fingertips started to get blisters on them and things of that nature. And when I realized that, that's when I knew I could be special. And that applies in life. If it's something that you want to do, if you're a kid and you want to go into science to be a doctor, you will know that you love it when you have all those science classes and you're willing to do the homework and stay up late. If you want to go into psychology and be someone that helps someone, you will understand that you love it when you're willing to continue to listen to people's problems and come back the next day and listen to more of their problems. When you're willing to read those books and study the different things that you need to know in that field. That's going to be a struggle. Nothing comes easy when you're trying to be good at something.
I love that.
Nothing comes easy.
I hit you up this morning after my morning exercise routine, Norris. No N-O effort, no N-O excellence. K-N-O-W. When you know effort, you will know and expect excellence. And what you just dropped on everybody is when you really want something badly, you have a passion for something, you're willing to put in the work.
Absolutely. I'm all in when it comes to my profession of basketball. I'm willing to pay the price. Even as the years go on, I've been playing this game over 20 years, and I'm still willing to pay the price. And so the love is real. And for all you littles out there who are trying to find their way and who think they know what they want to do, you won't have any doubt when you're willing to pay the price.
That's excellent. Coaching with Cole, two-time world champion with the National Basketball Association, Norris Cole, joining us on the Game of Life. Norris, we think about coaching, and you've given us some good coaching that applies not just on the court. I think that's important. More than an athlete, not just on the court. You're talking about in a game of life, literally. But now when it comes to coaching, see, now you picked up the basketball, dunking on Fisher-Price, the Fisher-Price rim back in the day when you're 3 years old, beginning to play organized ball at age 5. But from a coaching standpoint, you've been coached at every single level. And not everybody is blessed enough to really experience what you've gone through and what you've been through at the highest level. Just give us some coaching, your top 3 in terms of some of the best coaching advice. Understandably, you've gotten a lot of coaching advice, brother. But in efforts of time, give us the first one. The first coaching tip you've had.
The first coaching tip I have to say starts from being at home, and that's from my parents. And that is, if you're going to do something, give it your best. That was coaching tip number 1. If you're going to do it, do your best at it. Don't waste anybody's time. Don't waste the teacher's time. Don't waste the coach's time. Don't waste your time. So for those who are looking to be great at something, make sure you put the time in and understand that give it your best. Give it your best. Second tip I would have to say
But hold on 1 second, Norris, before you go to that second one. Because you never disappoint, brother. You never disappoint. It starts at home.
It starts at home.
So at the end of the day, and a shout out to your parents. I know and love them because that messaging that you had, and not everybody is fortunate and blessed to have that type of messaging at home. But cherish your parents, cherish your grandparents. Respect begins at home, because the respect you had for teachers, I'm sure, you didn't change your game when you leave the Cole household and you go to your local school in Dayton. Brother, it was just a continuation of the same playbook.
It was definitely a continuation. It was a continuation. One, you didn't want to deal with the ramifications that came with it. If you did change it up, it was going to be consequences for that. But
Yes,
two though, it was about respect and about having manners, being mannerable. When you do your best, something good is going to come out of it. Anytime you do your best, something good is going to come out of it. So, for me, my parents realized my best was the ability to make A's in school. Everyone doesn't make A's, but as long as you're giving your best, so if I had a class that I was struggling in a B or a C was the best I could do, it was okay. As long as my parents saw me studying every night, as long as they saw me trying my best, it was okay. And so once they realized an A was my best, it was nothing short of that. And same thing with my attitude. I was taught right from wrong. And so anytime conduct was less than that had to be put into check. And so, that has carried me all the way through life. And so that was the benefit of having parents. And so to all those young people out there, listen to your parents, listen to your mentors, listen to those people who care about you. And don't waste anyone's time. Be your best self at all times if you can.
I love that. So coaching with Cole here on the Game of Life. If you're willing, if you love something, you got to pay the price. If you love something, you got to be willing to pay the price. Then you're putting together a formula here, brother. So the mindset of willing to pay the price, plus, I'm going to teach this, brother, plus the respect you have for yourself and for those in authority. You put that in there. And so then let's give us another coaching tip, brother. So you from home, and so now you step on the court. Where'd you get some coaching, brother? So
when I stepped on the court, the biggest thing I learned this from Coach Waters from Cleveland State. Put in the extra. If you want to be special, you have to put the extra in. And so a lot of people don't understand what hard work is. So it's impossible for them to understand what extra hard work is. And so for my sport, I'll give you an example. Everyone shoots after practice. Everyone practices with their team. Everyone has a weight program that they have to do with their team in college and in the pros. And so that's not extra work. That's just the regular average work. And so putting in the extra work means once I do the team work, then I have to do my individual work. And so for me, what that looked like was in college, I would shoot shots before practice. Then I would eat breakfast and then go to practice and do the team practice hard. And then after the team practice, do my own individual practice again. And then this was over a year of 4 years. And then as I gotten older, senior year, you don't take as many hard classes. I was able to start getting 3 extra workouts in. So I would do before practice, and then I would practice, and then I would have my own practice again, go back, take a nap, and then later that night, practice again. And so that was the extra work. That was me. If I'm gonna do my best, I might as well go all out. And so I was trying to put the work in and do the extra work because everyone was at practice on time. Everyone did the conditioning test, but who was gonna do the extra conditioning when practice was over? Who was gonna shoot the extra shots, when everyone was asleep or when everyone was out partying? And so I would say number 2, put in the extra work.
I tell you what, we're building a formula to success with a 2-time world champion, Norris Cole here on the Game of Life. You got to be willing to pay the price. That's a mindset. You have to be willing to not only pay the price, but respect all those in authority, parents, coaches, mentors. So all the littles out there, as Brother Norris Cole said, You be willing to just respect. You don't always have the answer. Don't be afraid to ask for help. But now watch
Absolutely.
this. Then you dropped on us the fact of going the extra.
Extra.
So excellence is allergic to mediocrity. Excellence
they have nothing in common.
To mediocrity. So think about this. If you already have a mediocre mindset and you try to put in extra, you just became from mediocre to average. Think about that. What you're saying is the championship mindset, coupled with putting in extra, that takes you to another level, brother.
It definitely does. It definitely does. And it happens in school. So say for instance, there's a tough class you have to take, right? This is an example for the littles out there who are in school. Say there's a class that you're struggling with. If you only pay attention in class, you're going to continue to struggle. But if you go over that same work at night after school, and then right before bed, and then you go to class and study hard, and then after school you study more, and then before you go to bed you study again, I guarantee that class will become easier for you. And so that can be you going from a C to a B, or from a B to an A+. And that could be the difference from you having a 2.8 GPA to a 3.5 GPA to a 4.0 GPA, which is the difference from having a partial scholarship to a fully paid scholarship.
So it's a fine line, Norris.
Absolutely.
Between, you think about from mediocre to average, from average to excellent. And as we perfect our craft, as you say, being the best version of ourselves, as we deal with COVID-19, as you deal with any challenge in life. Because last time I checked, Norris, after COVID-19, would that be the end of life's challenges in your book?
Absolutely not. There's always going to be a challenge. Not to get biblical, but the scriptures say not if it's going to be challenges, but when there's going to be challenges. And
yes,
so
sir.
it's always going to be something that's going to happen, whether it's virus, whether it's family issues, whether it's in the workplace. There's always going to be something that you can't control. And so as long as you control your mentality, you'll be able to adjust in different times of crisis.
And I tell you what, Norris, one of the things in terms of that championship mindset, last week on the Game of Life, we had one of your former teammates, Shane Battier, Batman, right?
Batman.
But one of the things he said, and it's a credit to not only your mentality of willing to pay the price, but in also respecting authority beginning at home, and respecting all your coaches, and just respecting just any authority figure, but also going to the next level in terms of putting in the extra work. He said, and I'm quoting Shane Battier, national champion with the Duke Blue Devils and also two-time world champion with you with the Miami Heat. He said we would not have won a world championship without Norris Cole. Now you tuned in with us last week, and I appreciate you dropping in, brother. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's special, man. It's special when you hear your teammates, your colleagues, guys that you go to war with, appreciate the work that you put in. We all worked hard on that team. We all had our roles, and I can say the same thing. We wouldn't have won those championships without Batman. And so it's a humbling experience to have a guy of his stature, his status, the respect level that he has around the game of basketball, for him to be able to recognize me and what I brought to the table. I definitely appreciated that. And that's what you work for. You work to gain the respect of your peers. And he set a great example as a veteran player for me. You know, I was right there. I was right there watching him. I was right there watching how he studied film. I was right there watching how he broke down the tendencies and how he was going to defend certain players. And so I appreciated him letting me see that.
And with that, and you think about and I can only imagine to be a fly on the wall inside the Heat locker room during that run. I mean, you look to your left, there's LeBron James. You look over here, there's D Wade. You got Chris Bosh. You got just so many players that are legends of the game, Norris. And you were a rookie coming into that. But it goes back to, I'm sure, your mindset long before you put on that Heat 30, brother.
Absolutely. It was everything that happened up until that point. It was a building block. I had to credit my parents. They started the blueprint for me. Going to college, Coach Waters kept the blueprint going. And so by the time I got to the Miami Heat, the culture there was part of who I was already. It was a hard-working culture. It was a culture built on respecting authority. It was a championship mentality. And so it fit. It was the perfect fit for me. And so once I got there to the Heat, it was about continuing those lessons that I learned. It was about continuing to put the extra work in. It was about continuing to give my best effort. And it was about helping the team achieve because, the year before they struggled, they made it to the finals but didn't win. And so they drafted me in the first round. So I wanted to show that I was worth that pick. I wanted to show that I could be that missing piece. And so I was fortunate enough to have the coaches believe in me to put me out there because, normally, if you know anything about, the Heat, they normally don't play young guards, especially on heavy veteran teams. And so, they were able to give me a chance and I didn't want to disappoint.
And you certainly did not disappoint. And I think about, again, knowing you and the relationship we built over time and seeing you on the biggest stage represent your family. And listen, everybody, when it comes to the game of life, Norris didn't start a new playbook when he started with the Miami Heat, but prior to the championships, you just built upon what you had already known, what you had already practiced, what was already locked in, paying the price, respecting authority, making sure you put the extra in. So when it was time to get it, you were already ready. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
That's the truth. That's the truth. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And that's in all aspects of life.
Yes, sir. So now let's go back. Let's play the highlight reel for a minute. When you think about a rookie coming into NBA, winning a championship, then you come back your second year, you win a championship. So you were known as two-time around these parts in the 305, brother. So let's go through the highlight reel, the Norris Cole highlight reel with Miami Heat. What are some of your favorite plays, if you will? You got to play-by-play now, brother. So here we are worldwide. Give us a little play-by-play of some of this year, a couple of your top offensive and then defensive plays.
Okay, I had to say the whole fourth quarter of my first home game against Boston, I was able to have 14 points in the fourth quarter. All of those buckets, I remember those play-by-play. I remember my first backwards alley-oop to LeBron where I wasn't looking. They threw the outlet pass to me. A guy from the Knicks was trailing me, and I just threw it backwards, and he caught it and dunked it. And then, of course, you can't forget about the Jason Terry dunk, in the playoffs. The alley-oop to LeBron when he dunked on Jason Terry. That was, I think, worldwide, I think everyone remembers that one.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, the LeBron, you knew he was there. It was just your presence. He didn't say anything to you. You were coming down the court. You just, as a guard, you already know he's coming.
Absolutely. You got to trust your guy. And the last one for offense, I would say in the playoffs, I had a really, really good playoff series against the Chicago Bulls and the Indiana Pacers. I was very successful in those series offensively, and I always remember those. Defensively, that was my calling card. That's what I was expected to do.
No doubt.
Pressuring guards, being disruptive. I feel like that's what I did all the time. So it's hard to pick out one. I just want to make sure every game I want to come in and be disruptive.
Well, I remember you got under Lance Stephenson's skin a little bit in the playoffs. I know you recall that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that was a physical series, Brother Gale. That was a very, very physical, trying series. And I like that, though. I like the chippiness. That's how you're able to get all that aggression out. That's what you train for, and you want to use what you train for. And during that series, you was able to get all the steam, all the aggression, all the physicality. During that series, you was able to get all that out your system.
No doubt about it. When we think about just coaching and mentoring, we're here on the Game of Life with two-time NBA champion Norris Cole, just a kid from Dayton, Ohio, my home state, Ohio. You know how much love I got for the state of Ohio. And so Norris blessed us with his presence in Miami. We're doing some incredible things in partnership with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Miami. And so the championship mentality continues with Norris Cole and the Sunshine State. And Norris, as we think about just growing up and the mentors in your life, obviously starting at home, you made that abundantly clear. But when I think about just when you looked at sports and in life and those who mentored you, it goes without saying your parents. But when you think about the game of basketball, a game you love and a game you've excelled in, I look over your shoulder and I see two beautiful trophies there that were well earned, brother. That's appropriately put. This is no doubt. Oh, they are clearly in view, brother. That the world can see. You don't have to adjust the camera at all. It is abundantly clear. A champion with the championship proof right behind you, 2-time. But Norris, when you were growing up and playing the game of basketball, we've talked about this on previous shows, but who was that one person you looked at and said, my goodness, I want to be like him?
My guy growing up was MJ. MJ. I used to watch Michael Jordan tapes and games on repeat every single day. My cousins and my sisters, they used to get tired of it because before we did anything else, I had to watch my Michael Jordan tapes. And I would watch them over and over, the same ones, over and over and over again. Michael Jordan, Come Fly With Me. Michael Jordan, Time. Michael Jordan, Above and Beyond. I would go down the whole list. Michael Jordan, Air Attack. Like I watched so many Michael Jordan films, and then when he would play live, I would watch, and then after the game was over, I would go outside and mimic what I saw. And so, MJ was my favorite player growing up. To this day, when I'm around my female sisters and cousins, they know the songs just as good as I do because they used to have to watch them before we would go do anything else.
And what is it about Michael Jordan and just in the greats of the game and greats in life? What aspect of Michael Jordan's game did you appreciate the most and seek to emulate?
Well, one, his demeanor. He wanted to annihilate the competition. He wanted to dominate for his team. His only goal was to win, and that was his singular focus. And I picked that up at a young age. It wasn't about anything else but winning and dominating. And so, I wanted to be that same way as an athlete. I wanted to dominate my competition. I wanted to win championships. And so that's one thing I picked up. And then as I began to get older, I realized, his hard work. He was blessed with some gifts, but he would wake up, Breakfast Club in the morning before practice, early, 6 a.m. before practice, before shoot around, and put his work in and lift weights before the game, and get to the arena early and get his shots up before the game. And so I realized his preparation to the game is one of the reasons why he's the greatest of all time.
And when I think about what you just said, I love the fact that you didn't start with his crossover. You didn't start with his little shimmy shake, dry and fade away jump shot. You started with his demeanor. Yes. His demeanor. And as I think about that, Norris, and I got you by a few years, but before there was Michael Jordan and somebody I met in Toledo, who was one of my first recommendations for a job was Julius Erving, Dr. J. You've heard of Dr. J, I'm sure.
Doctor, for sure.
The good doctor. And so shout out to Julius Erving, Dr. J. When he met him at a scholarship dinner and all of that, and the fact that he not only gave me his card, followed up and helped me secure one of my first jobs professionally with Coca-Cola. I just think about the demeanor of Julius Erving, the demeanor of Michael Jordan, and then there was number 8 and number 24, Kobe Bryant. You had a chance to play against Kobe about how many times? How many years?
I played against Kobe on the back end of his career, last, I think, 4 years.
Okay.
Which was my first 4 years in the league. The last time I played against him was New Orleans, which was his last season in the NBA. That was the last time I was able to play against him, man. He actually signed some shoes for me, personalized them to Norris, from Kobe, and took a picture with my family and had a nice conversation with my mother and my father. So that was pretty cool. And, early in Kobe's career, he was the assassin, but as his career was coming to an end, he showed his appreciation for the game and showed his more friendlier side to the game. And it was cool, because I was a guy that, his work ethic, Kobe's work ethic, I also paid attention to when I was in college. I paid attention to his work ethics, his multiple workouts a day. That's how I was able to put some of my workouts together, was watching and learning how he prioritized his day and his workouts. And so, to be able to compete against him, even though it was at the end of his career, just to be able to get out there and compete against him and his team, it was definitely a joy.
And when I think about that Mamba mentality, what does that mean to you, Norris, a Mamba mentality?
The Mamba mentality is to give your absolute best. Kobe gave everything he could to the game of basketball. If you know the Kobe story, which most of us do, he gave his whole body to the game. He was, he had so many injuries. He conditioned, 3 and 4 times a day, every day. He played 20 seasons, plus the years before that in high school. So he gave everything he could to the game. And not only that, he was a student of the game. You know, he studied film. He broke down film all the way to the lowest level detail of the game. And so his mentality was give it your all. And he gave the game his all. And that's why now, you know, everyone respects his game. Even if you don't like Kobe the player, even if he wasn't a Kobe fan, that Mamba mentality, you have no choice but to respect that because he gave it his absolute best. And I think when you have that Mamba mentality, when you give it your best, you're going to be successful at something. I've never seen hard work not pay off in some shape, way, or fashion.
I love it. And that's a lesson in leadership as well, a lesson in mentoring, a lesson in leadership. Leadership is lonely. You've heard me say this many times, Norris. Leadership is lonely. When you have that Mamba mentality, that relentless pursuit for perfection, like you said, that drive. Not everyone's going to like it, but they have to respect it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It gets lonely. But, you know, that's why there's different classes of cars that people can drive. If you're not in a certain class or tax bracket, you probably can't afford that car, that house, that job position. That's what separates us, you know. And sometimes people might not think it's fair, but, you know, those who put in extra work, you know, normally you can tell, you know, in their life and in their demeanor and sometimes in their social status, you know. And so that hard work is definitely something that can translate in any walk of life.
And you were paid back from that hard work. I think about your career at Cleveland State. And congratulations, brother, too. Your jersey was retired at Cleveland State, and you were most recent recipient of a Distinguished Alumni Award at Cleveland State University. So how'd that make you feel, brother?
Man, that was special. That was special. I wasn't even expecting that. You know, when my jersey was retired, that was great. That was my goal, actually, one of my goals in college. I wanted to be able to be special and have my jersey in the rafters, but to be recognized as a distinguished alumni, anytime you're appreciated, you know, it's a humbling experience. Anytime that you're recognized for giving back to somebody, you know, I gave a lot to CSU. I gave my blood, sweat, and tears. I shared my family with them. Me and my teammates, we did our best to try to, you know, put the best performance in the classroom and on the court. And so for them to recognize me as an individual, it was a testament to my teammates. It was a testament to my coaches, my professors, you know, my parents, everyone who helped me. You know, it was a humbling experience.
I tell you what, Norris, congratulations again on that. And so now we talked about from your home, from Fisher-Price at home, all the way to the NBA. I mean, from home to college to the NBA, and then playing international ball as well. But your mentorship, your leadership, your legacy, your championship legacy transcends the basketball court. You're a business owner as well. Tell us about your latest venture with E3 Energy Cubes, brother.
I don't know if you can see this, but these are E3 Energy Cubes. And what they are, they're protein fiber bars. Soy-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, non-GMO. They're the healthiest, best tasting protein fiber bars on the market. I was fortunate enough to meet the owner at a speaking engagement. I was doing motivational speaking out in Utah, in Provo, Utah. And there were snacks in the back. And I tried one of the E3 cubes, and I was like, man, this is really good. Because, you know, as an athlete, I've tried all of them. I've eaten all the protein bars. I've tried all different brands. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And someone heard me say that, and they went back and got the owner. And so the owner came back and said, Mr. Cole? And I said, yeah, I'm Mr. Cole. It's like, you like those? I said, I love them. I said, what are these? And she let me know, it was a startup. And I said, well, I want to be involved in these because I like these. And she said, well, how involved do you want to be? And I said, I want to be all the way involved. And so we were able to talk, and I was able to become part owner, you know, of the company. And we're about to do a press release that's coming out shortly, and I wanted to reach all over America and eventually all over the world because, you know, nutrition is key. You know, nutrition is key. You know, you want to have natural foods in your system. You want to have that great energy. And I believe these bars will definitely help that. And I live by these bars. I eat them every day before training. I eat them during the basketball games at halftime, you know, to make sure I refuel properly, you know, and I feel great. And so, you know, E3energycubes.com, go out there, purchase them. And, you know, for my family and friends, you guys can message me so you can get the family discount.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. And as we think about our partnership, Norris, with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Miami, and we will certainly, as we get into once this social distancing is over and everybody is safe, as I think about upcoming activities, be it a camp, be it health and wellness activities, be it mentoring the next generation of littles in Miami, but with that E3 Energy Cube, we look forward to getting them involved with us as well and helping these littles fuel their own success as well, brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. We definitely going to be involved. We definitely want to help feed some of the youth. We definitely want them to have the proper nutrition. But also, the fact that I was able to go into business with them is, I want to show that, there's more than athletics. Obviously, Heat Nation, they're Heat fans, and, being a champion is great, and I love that. But I think being able to show the littles that you can be good at more than one thing. And that as you progress in life, you don't have to stay one thing and one person. You can get better and you can move to other ventures. And I think having that partnership and E3 being able to join with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, I think that's going to be a great example.
Well, Norris, it's always a pleasure, brother, having you on the Game of Life. I look forward to when it's safe to do so, and when social distancing is over, to have you get back with us here in Miami. We do expect you to come visit Miami again. So go let the world know, brother. Let all of Miami know. Heat Nation, everybody, that championship mentality of Norris Cole, NC30, is going to come back and visit Miami. Just go ahead and make that promise right now.
As soon as it's safe and the coast is clear, I will be in the 305.
That's Absolutely. You heard it here on the Game of Life with two-time NBA champion Norris Cole. OIHO, Ohio is a beautiful place, but NC30,
absolutely, it's home.
It's home. Will always be home. But
Norris 305 is home too.
305 is home as well, brother. I like that. I'm from Ohio and I live here in Miami, and the dual residency of Norris Cole in Ohio and in Miami. Brother, your coaching tips today, your encouraging words as people are self-quarantined through this COVID-19 global pandemic, your championship mentality on and off the court, our brotherhood. You know how I feel about you, brother. All the best to you and your family. Thanks for joining us on the Game of Life today, Norris. Any final words for everybody out there tuning in you want to drop when coaching with Cole? The floor is yours, Norris.
I just want to say, anyone who's looking to mentor and looking to help the youth, make sure you reach out to Mr. Gale and Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Miami. They're doing a great work. Teamwork makes the dream work. And so to be able to partner with them has made my life better and has made the youth life better. And I feel like anybody out there who's looking to help, Big Brothers, Big Sisters Miami is always looking to partner and expand our team. And so I want to say thank you for the work that you've been doing as the president, Brother Gale, and continue that work. And I'm going to continue to do my part to make sure we help the youth moving forward.
A true champion, spoken like a true champion. All the best to you, brother. God bless you. We'll be back in touch next time on the Game of Life, where everybody makes the team, but how you play is up to you. Peace, my brother.